Hey, what's up, guys? In today's video, I want to talk about how the problem with tactical medicine courses, right? They might teach you how to put on a tourniquet, they might teach you where to put a chest seal and how to crike and needle D and all that, but they don't teach you how to be a SWAT medic, right? When you're new on a team, you need to know how to be a SWAT medic. You're there because you know how to treat and you've learned all these things, but what do you do when you first get there? All right? I had nobody to tell me that when I started, right? And we've learned these things through our almost 15 years of having a full-time team. So these are 5 tips that I want to share with you in this video of what to do when you first get on a team to just guarantee success for yourself starting from day one. Let's get into it. We learned all this has been learned over, our program now, and this May will be 15 years of having a full-time program. So I want to share with you 5 things, right, that, and if you stick around, I'll probably have a bonus one at the end. But they're all very important, right? And they're all something that you should just keep on doing from the day you get there. And I get it. Being a medic, especially if you're coming from fire or you're coming from an ambulance company or something, and you're going into this super tight team, right? And now you're the odd man or odd girl out. It's going to be tough, right? So you have to make a good name for yourself, right? So, so the first thing, right, here's number 1, is make sure that everybody on your team is well versed in self-aid and buddy aid, right? Make sure that they all know, all right, how to treat themselves, how to self-apply a tourniquet, all right, in all their extremities, and do it with a gas mask because you're most likely going to be in a gas environment. Okay, I'm not saying sit down in a classroom and do it, or do it where it's nice and comfortable. Get behind cover and have them do that so they can see what it's like, so they can have that muscle memory, right? So how to apply a tourniquet on themselves, how to apply their tourniquet on their buddy, how to apply a chest seal, okay? All these basic things that are going to make your job easier the day you're called on to do something, right? Number 2, probably should have been number 1, but is make sure that everybody on your team has one of these, all right? An IFAC, all right? So I said probably should have been number 1 because, I should talk about the IFAC and then what's inside, and they should know what's inside, right? So make sure, so when I got here in 2010, when the program was official, and I would look at guys and they didn't have an IFAC, they didn't even have a tourniquet for that matter, right? They were issued one, but they had them bundled, holding things in their trunk. So, and I would ask them, well, where's your tourniquet? And they would tell me, well, that's why you're here. And I was like, well, what if I can't get to you? What if it's something like the North Hollywood shootout in LA in 1998, right? What if it's something like that? 97 or 98. Look it up. Nail me in the comments. Anyways, what if it's something like that and you're Martin Whitfield, the officer hiding behind the tree, and I can't get to you, right? You need to have that stuff. And then they would ask me, well, where should I keep it? And I said, I don't know. Where would you keep it if that you can get to it with either hand, right? So in here, somewhere where you can grab it with either hand. So the tourniquet, the IFAC, make sure that every one of your officers is wearing an IFAC and they have them all the time, and you know where it is and what's inside, right? You don't have to have fancy stuff in it. It doesn't have to have needle decompression or MPA. It's just the basic stuff that they can treat themselves or they can treat their buddy, okay? Or that you're going to come up to them and use that as a force multiplier, right? So in our unit, we use a layered approach, right? Which I think most people should, right? Everybody's got an IFAC, which has a tourniquet. Remember, 2 is 1, 1 is none, 3 is almost a guarantee, right? So everybody's got an IFAC, whether it's on their plate carrier or on their belt, but we as the medics know where the IFAC is. So everybody's got an IFAC. I carry a March belt. So it's relatively new to me. I'm still messing around with it. But this is piece of gear, right, that you have as a medic, right? We covered self-aid, buddy aid, and we covered the IFAC. Okay, so number 3 is your gear, right? So back a few years back, we had an incident where one of our medics was attached to a neighboring agency for a big event. It was a big holiday weekend, and there was a shooting, and there was a person shot. So this guy is treating the patient, and his hands are full of blood, and he needed something out of his aid bag, and he's like, "Grab me whatever it was, whatever. Uh, wasn't a cry kit, but let's say it was that. Grab me this." And everybody looked at him like he was speaking a foreign language, like he was an alien, right? So we've learned from that, and we've taken that scenario, and now we've incorporated into pretty much all the drills in school, especially. We'll set up single medic scenario, but throughout the school, we'll start from day one where we'll have the medics, and I'll tell them, I have everything in our fire department cache, and I'm gonna put names in a hat and pass it around. Joe Schmo, you're up. Give me a 5-10 minute dissertation or presentation to the officers in the class, the SWAT candidates, about this item and what it is. Like that, I know that you know what you're talking about. They learn what it is, and then they see it in the bag, right? So when you come to the team, you should be doing this with your team, right? Open up your bag, do a training day, and say, this is a cry kit. This is what I would need it for. This is where I keep it. This is TXA. This is how I set it up. This is what I'm going to need. It's behind my belt. It's in my bag. If I ask for the TXA, this is what it looks like. Give me that. Teach them how to set up. Like for us, the TXA comes in a bag, right? I know for a lot of people it comes in a vial. So teach them how to set it up. Have that as a force multiplier, because if you're by yourself, you're going to need it one day. And you don't want everybody asking, "Hey, Doc, what do I do next?" And you're looking around and they're looking at you like they want to help, but they don't know, right? So that's number 3. Teach them what you have in your bag. Teach them the nomenclature and what everything is called, so that if you ever have to go down that road, you know that they know how to help you. All right, so number 4 is include medical training in every one of your training days, right? So whether you're a full-time team, part-time team, you're a regional team, whenever you do training, you as the medic should get with the team leader and say, "Hey, man, can we incorporate even just a little, man? Even a little goes a long way, right?" All this, everything in our world is a diminishing skill, right? And if you haven't talked about it in a long time, they could forget how logistically hard it's going to be to get that guy off the X and move him all the way to the ambulance, the helicopter, to definitive care, right? So everybody needs to know their role, right? So like all my guys know that I have a litter. Pretty much all our medics have a North American Rescue soft litter on their plate carrier, right? So while I'm treating or doing whatever and I ask for the litter, they're going to unzip that and deploy right next to the patient, and we're ready to go. And that's one thing that gets taken out of the equation because we already did it. Litter is out, ready to log roll them. You can check your bag and then put them on the litter. So everybody knows that whenever we drill, we use the whole layered outlook medical, and everybody in the team is involved. Anybody that's not holding points is involved in the rescue of this downed officer or patient or whatever we have. All right, number 5 is you need to perform a comprehensive medical plan before you get on those skids, before you get on that Bearcat for every operation, right? Whether you're there face to face with the ambulance or you're calling them on the phone, all right? And you're going to state, find out what the plan is, and I'll do a video specifically on how we do that if you'd like. You need to have a plan, all right? Because hope is not a plan. All right, so you do this, you make up this plan with the rescue, whatever the resources you're going to need for that operation, and then you brief that as part of the briefing for the tactical briefing, right? If it's a barricaded call out or something like that, where you're just kind of like everybody's showing up, you can talk to the TL out on the one side behind the Bearcat or wherever, and you can disseminate that medical plan to everybody. But it needs to get done because everybody has to be on the same sheet of music when something goes when something goes sideways. All right, and I told you if you stuck around, I was gonna have a bonus for you, right? If you can get your guys, all right, your team to own the first 60 seconds of any injury, that's gonna help you immensely, right? Because you might be in a position where you're moving through a building, you have multiple patients, or you just can't get to them right away. What I mean, if somebody gets shot in the neck, are they just gonna say medic up and they're just gonna stand there and point at the floor? All right. I know it's very specific, but we learned that in a training scenario, right, where it was a simunitions guy was shot in the neck, and they said medic up. You know, what do you think that's going to look like if you get there and the guy's been bleeding for 30 seconds? All right, uncontrolled, right? So they need to be able to own those first 60 seconds of the injury. If you're there, great. If not, they need to own the first 60 seconds, right? But that's something that'll help you, I think, immensely as as a new SWAT medic. If you listen to all these things, right, and implement, maybe not. Maybe you're already doing your own thing, and that's great. And whatever you do, please let me know in the comments because we don't have the answer for everything, right? We learn as we go. Yeah, we've been doing it. We've had the program for 15 years, but we learn every time we go out there. We learn something about where I want to put something on my kit. All you medics out there know we're always changing this over and over and over again. We're never happy with it. But I hope it helps. And best of luck to you. Until next time, stay frosty.